What's going down, y'all? This is one half of the Wake Up Crew here to talk some WNBA prop bets over on PRIZEPICKS for this Wednesday, June the 29th WNBA slate. We had 3 games today. I couldn't cover the 11 o'clock game, too damn early, but we got the Indiana Fever and the Phoenix Mercury, as well as the Las Vegas Aces and the Seattle Storm, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I won't even know if the damn plays hit until the next day because I'm not staying up until midnight to watch these games. But let's do a quick recap of the plays that we talked about yesterday. We did get the taco, Ariel Atkins. Her point total dropped down from 13.5 to 10.5. I put in the comments that it was the top play in the model, and she got that. So this is, let me just tell y'all, this is what happens when you don't follow the data, right? And I was talking about Elena Delle Donne. I don't care what the data says. It doesn't matter that they're not good. You know, they give up the fewest amount of points to forwards. I faded all of that. And EDD just stood by and watched, and she didn't do anything. Not going to do that again tonight. So let's just look at the data plays that we talked about. Get this off of the screen. Ariel Atkins was good money, right? Top play in the model, 78%. Boom, hit the over. Natasha Cloud, we talked about her points, rebounds, and assists. Boom, that hit. The rebounds, didn't like the rebounds. The model said it was cool. I think she finished with 2 or 3, but we wanted the par for Natasha Cloud. You look at it, Cloud. Ariel Atkins hit her par. Alicia Clark, I know it popped in the model, but I said I wasn't running back to it. Marina Mabry, again, I know why it projected an over, or at least the projection was higher than the prop. But again, no confidence in her going into that game. And Sylvia Fowles, she hit her first half prop, which we talked about. Her fantasy score was like 13. I took the over. It was like 14.6. She hit the first half, but exactly what we talked about. Not knowing the minutes, how that would play out. She did not cash the total game total of 27.5. So just quick recap of the 60% probability plays and over and how they fared in the model. We dove into the data. We've got 2 of the most explosive scorers in the WNBA facing off tonight. Kelsey Plum and Kelsey Mitchell. 2 Kelseys playing tonight. Different games. Got a lot of stuff to dive into. So let's get into the data. That's what we do. I'm giving you the data to help you make better informed picks in the WNBA. So let's get right into it. All right, as always, we start off with the lineup. What's going down with the lineups? All right, no major injuries. I can't even see. No major injuries from the Indiana side. Nobody's out that we need to really pay attention to. Phoenix side, free Brittany Griner. Get her home once again, but no other significant outs for Phoenix. Aces, they are back, and Chelsea Gray is playing. I know they don't have it listed. Let me just refresh this to see. Chelsea Gray is back, so she'll be in the starting lineup. And then Seattle, Tina Charles is going to make her debut tonight. Ezzy Magbegor still in the starting lineup, but Tina Charles will be playing for the Storm tonight. I guess I could have just scrolled up to do that. But let's dive into it. So, Indy and Phoenix. Let's go to my Spari. Shout out to Spari. Love using them for their data. And let's just look at the teams. Let me get myself a little bit smaller in here. Let's look at the teams and how they do. So offensively, Phoenix, Indiana, Vegas, and Seattle. The Aces, #1 team offensive rating in the WNBA. We know this. Indiana, not very good. One of the worst offensive teams in the WNBA. The Seattle Storm, kind of right down there. It's Brianna Stewart, Ezzy Magbegor, Tina Charles should help with that offensively. And the Phoenix Mercury, not bad offensive rating at 101. Defensively, a holistic view at some of the worst defensive teams. There we go, Indiana. So already, Phoenix, probably some scoring opportunities there for the Mercury, and scoring opportunity for Indiana because Phoenix is not good. Not a good defensive team. Seattle, very solid defensively, and the Aces, sort of middle of the pack. Let's just look at, we haven't done team averages for a while, and I thought this was interesting when I was looking at field goals attempted per game in the WNBA. Even though the Fever aren't a good offensive efficiency team, they get up 71.5 field goals per game, which is more than the Las Vegas Aces. You see the Seattle Storm here. at 69. And then the Phoenix Mercury down there at the bottom at 65. Slower pace of play for those teams. Let's just take a look at some team general stats, and let's just go there, and let's just take a look. Pace of play, largest to smallest. Let's get this smaller so we can see everything at one time. And there go the Aces. There go the Indiana Fever. There go the Phoenix Mercury. Oh, the Mercury right there, right in the middle. Pace of play right there at 96.8. So point is, there's some opportunity for some overs in this matchup. We've got some teams that aren't very good defensively, and they want to shoot the ball a ton. So we're going to focus in on that. And let's take a look at our averages. I love the opponent averages, man. This is such good stuff. And I should have listened last night. I mean, yeah, I said it as we were walking through the plays. I was like, you don't really want to play forwards. And I was like, I don't care. Elena Delle Donne doesn't matter. And it absolutely mattered. So guards, let's just look at guard play. So teams giving up the most points per game to guards in the WNBA. Phoenix still out there at the top at 46 points per game given up to guards. Automatically, my mind is thinking Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey Mitchell, leading scorer in the WNBA, right up there with Kelsey Plum. I'm thinking Kelsey Mitchell, right? Seattle, 32, stingiest against guards. So the Aces, Jackie Young and Kelsey Plum, somebody's got to suffer somewhere, right? We know Chelsea Gray's not going to do a ton of scoring, but one of those two guards probably going to suffer versus Seattle. The Aces kind of towards the bottom, and then the Mercury, Indiana, right there towards the middle of the pack as far as points given up to guards. Look at the rebounds. Phoenix up there at the top. The Aces don't give up a lot of rebounds to guards because Aja Wilson and De'Erica Hamby are just beasts on the glass. Seattle, middle of the pack. Let's just look at assists real quick. Phoenix towards the top. You want to attack Phoenix with guards, period. Attack Phoenix with guards. That's what you want to do. Indiana, right there towards the middle. The Aces towards the bottom of the WNBA. Let's look at the forwards, how these teams do against forwards, and maybe that will shape some other plays. Indiana giving up the most points per game in the WNBA. Two forwards and back to the lineup, right? Forwards, you got Brianna Turner, Sophie Cunningham, Shea Petty as a guard, but she gets dirty from time to time. The Aces give up a ton of points to forwards, 31.7 points per game to forwards, and I believe they are second in the WNBA giving up rebounds to forwards, and they have to deal with Breanna Stewart, Gabby Williams. I love Stewie tonight. Just going to throw it out there. I love Breanna Stewart in this matchup tonight. And then just for, I don't really play a lot of centers, but let's look. Points per game given up to centers. Phoenix, number one. They just bleed points to everybody. Phoenix just gives up points to everybody. The Aces towards the stingier teams. Indiana giving up a lot of points. And Seattle giving up a lot of points to centers. Do we have any centers to worry about for Seattle? Aja Wilson. We will be talking about Aja Wilson, right? They give up a ton right there at the top, 15.6 points per game. The centers, Aja Wilson's going to have her way. They give up the third most rebounds per game to centers. Aja Wilson should play very well in this matchup. So we've got the lineups. We went through some team data. We went through some opponent averages. Let's take a look at the model. All right. I filtered this thing out. Well, I started with points. So let's just look at the points, and we'll filter it out later. I know I talked about Kelsey Mitchell's over because Phoenix, terrible versus guard play. This is the same thing that we did last night with Elena Delle Donne. The model says under. It says don't take the over on this, 41% probability. It's the way that PrizePicks set this line, it's not good for us. However, context, Phoenix, terrible, giving up 46 points per game to guards. And who does Kelsey Mitchell have to deal with? Victoria Vivens, I don't mind her either. Danielle Robinson actually pops in the model in a couple of places. Here's Robinson, right? Her point total on PrizePicks is 6. The projection is 7.1 with a 57% probability to go over. Like, it's probably the safer play. It probably is, right? I'm going to do it again. I said I wasn't going to do it, damn it, I'm going to do it again. This is a non-recommended data point. Kelsey Mitchell, this is what she does. She scores, and Phoenix is terrible versus guards. I like Kelsey Mitchell, even though the model says no. Breanna Stewart, the model loves her points, right? 74% probability to go over, as well as Kelsey Plum. I like Kelsey Plum as well. We talked about somebody versus Seattle will suffer, and I think it's going to be Jackie Young. Got her prop at 18.5. Got her projected for 16.8. 40% probability to go over. Second lowest in the point total category. I'm probably going to play an under Jackie Young points in this matchup. So let's filter this out. Let's go. I don't have assists. We'll go fantasy score, par, rebounds, and let's do the real thing. Let's sort this thing for real, and do it where the edge spits out what we want and not what I'm just thinking and throwing out there. So these are all the plays. 65%. That's a little high. I want it at 60%, greater than equal to 60. Let's expand that. Here we go. Victoria Vivens, she pops in the model. There we go. 60% probability to go over her rebound prop. There goes our girl Danielle Robinson. She's a guard for the Indiana Fever against the Mercury, who are not good against guards. I like the fantasy score for Danielle Robinson. Kelsey Plum, there's her fantasy score at 35. Got it projected for 37. Asia Wilson, we talked about her fantasy score. I know it's juiced up to 42.5. Seattle, not good versus centers. Tina Charles is in. It's going to be interesting to see how Tina and Ezzy kind of blend into that Seattle Storm offense. I think this frees up things for Breanna Stewart. So whatever you want to do. Stewie is, you look at her 5-game total. She's a monster, you guys. I don't need to tell you how good she is, but her fantasy points over the last 5. 38.5 is the prop. She's gone under this twice in the last 5 games. 45, 37.9, 34.8, 43.3, 51.9, 33 minutes per game. I actually think I want to roll with the points, though. I know the fantasy scores there, but with Charles and Ezzy there, I think I just want to depend on Breanna Stewart to score. Just go get buckets. And at 19.5, she's gone over this point total 2 of her last 5 games, and she's hit 19 in 2 of the last 5 and gone under this, 3 of her last 5. But with Charles there, with Ezzy playing well, Jewel Lloyd also looks good in the model. Guards versus the Aces, you can exploit them a little bit there. I think Jewel Lloyd's been playing some pretty good ball. Kelsey Plum, 21.5 points, just very high, but Kelsey Plum is one of the best players in the WNBA, playing at an MVP level. Jackie Young, so we talked about her under points. The rebound prop for Jackie Young actually looks pretty good, 69% probability to go over, 2, 4, 5, 3, and 5, 36.6 minutes per game. And this is what I love about Kelsey Plum. She's damn near playing the entire game, 37.4 minutes. She's averaging more minutes per game over the last 5 than anybody else in the WNBA. I like Kelsey Plum. Something with Kelsey Plum. Her par, her fantasy score, the points. I like Plum. I like it under for Jackie Young, but you can't mix and match 2 players from the same damn team. Danielle Robinson from Indiana. We talked about her, guard play versus Phoenix. That's what you want to attack. Diana Taurasi. We got to talk about Diana Taurasi, who's been balling lately. You look at the point total, and she didn't meet the threshold here, but I do like the rebound prop. She's averaging right around 4 boards over her last 5. They got it set at 3. Just 3, 5, 2, 5, 5 in 31 minutes per game. I like Diana Taurasi. She's playing really well. Not touching anything related to Tina Charles just yet until we figure out, how the minutes are going to shake out with her and Ezzy down there in Seattle. Victoria Vivens, she hit the 60% threshold in the model. Probably not going to run that. Brianna Turner is interesting. She scores no points. She just grabs a lot of rebounds and pretty good defensively. Don't like the fantasy score. It's right at her average over the last 5, so I'd probably leave it alone. Hamby's boards, don't love it, even though her and Asia Wilson absolutely dominated Seattle the last time they played. I think they both had over 15 rebounds in that game, which is insane. But I'm not going to project her to do that again. So, of the players that meet the threshold that we like, Stewart's fantasy score, you guys, 87%. It's hard to pass that up. When you see that, it's hard to pass that up, but 74% probability for her to go over her points. Jewel Lloyd's fantasy score, she's been playing really good basketball, and with more help down low, maybe that opens up some opportunities for her. I just think Breanna Stewart is, I don't want to say a lock, but I really like the points at 19.5. Kelsey Plum, she's dope. Jackie Young, I want to take an under on her points. And let's just talk about a couple of other players that Let's stop it here and then expand the list to kind of everybody, right? Because I just want to talk through some players that the model, it didn't meet the threshold, but I still kind of like. Let's go to, where's she at? Diana Taurasi's par. Here it is right here. Points, rebounds, and assists, 23.5. She's averaging 24.6 over the last 5. We do have her projected a little bit over at 24. There goes Kelsey Mitchell. Don't really want her fantasy score. If I do anything with Kelsey Mitchell, it's going to be the points. And as we scroll down, you'll see how low she is in the model. There it is, 20.5. Got her projected at 18.9. I don't like to see that red. Sophie Cunningham for Phoenix. She's played well over the last couple of games. You look at her points, rebounds, and assists, 21 and 22 over the last 2 games. The thing that's dragging her down is those 2 8s sandwiched in between. So I don't mind Sophie Cunningham's points, rebounds, and assists. And if we go back to, she's a forward versus, where's she at? Sophie Cunningham, forward versus Indiana. That's where you want to attack Indiana with forwards. Remember, we talked about that. Let's get back to it. Just talking through the data. Points per game given up to forwards. Indiana tops in the WNBA. Indiana, the rebounds, right up there towards the top of the WNBA and giving up 16 boards per game. So when I'm looking at Sophie Cunningham, context matters. Like, she's hit this number in back-to-back games, 26 minutes per game. I like that 30-minute threshold for overs, but Sophie Cunningham, a decent play as well. Nalissa Smith, probably the rebounds if I did anything, which it's right there, right? Right there. We got it projected for 9.7. She's gone over this number in 4 of her last 5 games. So it's right there for Nalissa Smith with 9 boards. Talked about Jackie Young's points under 18.5. I like the under 18.5 for the points for her. Brianna Turner, probably not going to rock with it. So, you know, those are the plays. That's the data. That's the data. I don't know what y'all want. This is a long video, but I wanted to talk through sort of my process and why I try really hard to stick to the data. So when we filter all of this stuff back out and get to, you know, what I'm looking for, these are the plays that popped in the model that hit that. Again, that's 65%. I need to change this. It needs to just be 60% threshold. Let's do that. There goes the data for y'all. We don't make you pay for picks. We just ask for a thumbs up, a like, subscribe. Let us know what you're playing, and let me know if this type of analysis and data helps you out. I promise you we won't take 17 minutes moving forward, but the games don't start until 10 o'clock Eastern. We got time to work through that. So I'd say Danielle Robinson, Kelsey Plum, Diana Taurasi. I like those plays. Asia Wilson, of course. Brianna Stewart, of course. And an under on Jackie Young. So sort of what I'm thinking about. Sophie Cunningham might run her on a couple of tickets as well. We'll just see how all of that plays out. So I appreciate y'all tapping into the data dump. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me for a little bit longer. Promise you they'll be a lot shorter moving forward, but I kind of wanted to walk you through the process. Got some good players on tap tonight, so we just want to make sure we make the most informed and sound decisions before we place these bets over on PrizePicks. Use the promo code WAKEUP for an instant deposit match up to $100, dollar for dollar for first-time users. Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, like. Let me know what you're playing below. As always, if you tail, give PrizePicks hell. And if we fail, don't bail. We'll be back tomorrow. More picks, more plays. Good luck and good night.